8 artificial intelligence agents were reportedly given a government target. Then they began working in parallel. They mapped systems, searched for weak points, tested possible routes, changed direction when one failed, and kept going for 4 days. By the end of the operation, researchers said 85 employee accounts had been compromised, more than 2,500 personnel records had been taken, and the campaign had expanded toward government suppliers, an email system, a nuclear safety agency, and 7 energy companies. This was not a laboratory benchmark. It was not a chatbot producing suspicious instructions for a human to copy. According to the cybersecurity company Dream, it was an operational campaign in which autonomous agents performed the attack chain after human operators selected the objectives and launched the system. That distinction is critical. Humans were still behind the operation. But the work that once required a coordinated hacking team was reportedly delegated to software that could plan, test, and adapt at machine speed. If the evidence holds, cybersecurity has crossed another line. Dream first discussed the campaign publicly after its researchers recovered what it described as the working directory of an attacking system. The company said the operation targeted government entities in Asia and unfolded through 12 attack waves over 4 days in early July. Dream's public report did not name the country. Later reporting by the Financial Times identified the target as Taiwan through a person familiar with the incident. Other reporting said the recovered material contained traditional Chinese data taken from the targets, while internal operator communications used simplified Chinese. Those details contributed to an assessment that the operators were probably connected to mainland China. But probability is not proof. Dream did not publicly identify a specific hacking group, and it did not definitively attribute the campaign to the Chinese government. So the strongest version of the story is also the most precise. Researchers say they found an autonomous campaign against an Asian government. Reputable reporting identified Taiwan. The operator appeared China-linked. Some details remain unconfirmed in public. What Dream says it recovered was unusually revealing. Reporting described an online archive of roughly 160 megabytes containing almost 1,400 files. Inside were the records of a system that could coordinate multiple AI agents at once. At times, as many as 8 agents reportedly operated in parallel. One could examine the available systems. Another could research a problem. Others could test separate paths. If an approach failed, the platform could evaluate the result, rank alternatives, and redirect work without waiting for a human to type the next instruction. That is what makes this different from ordinary automation. Traditional automated scanners have tested large numbers of systems for decades. They are fast, but they usually follow rules written in advance. An autonomous agent can interpret what happened, decide what the result means, and choose what to try next. The difference is not simply speed. It is the ability to continue a chain of decisions. Think of a traditional scanner as a machine that checks every door in a hallway. An autonomous system can check the doors, notice that one badge works in another building, search public documentation, change its plan, and send several workers toward different entrances at the same time. The reported platform was assembled from publicly available agent technology. Media reports connected it to Hermes and OpenClaw, frameworks designed to let language models perform multi-step tasks. Neither was created specifically as a government hacking weapon. The danger came from combining general-purpose tools, broad system access, and malicious objectives. The underlying AI model has not been publicly established. Reporting also said the operators appeared to frame the activity as an authorized security exercise, a tactic that may have reduced resistance from model safeguards. But the central lesson does not depend on the exact model name. The agents reportedly did not need a science fiction vulnerability. Dream emphasized that autonomous execution, not technical novelty, defined the campaign. Ordinary identity failures, exposed services, weak account practices, and connected systems created enough opportunities. The AI system's advantage was its ability to search those opportunities continuously and connect them faster than a human team normally could. That is why 85 compromised accounts mattered more than one spectacular exploit. Dream said 84 of those accounts were then used to move into internal systems. The operation reportedly collected personnel information, internal database credentials, and details about network architecture. Then it widened the search. Government technology suppliers, an email platform, a nuclear safety body, and energy companies entered the target set. Even when one institution protects its own network, contractors and connected services can create alternative routes. Autonomous agents are especially suited to exploring that web of trust because they can pursue many branches simultaneously. If you want more verified investigations into the money, power, and security risks behind artificial intelligence, subscribe to Bytes and Billions and like this video. Then tell us in the comments, should governments deploy autonomous defensive agents that can respond at the same speed, or would that create an even more dangerous race? The attribution problem makes that race harder. Investigators traditionally study an attacker's infrastructure, tools, language, working hours, and mistakes. Those signals help connect a campaign to a known group. Autonomous systems can weaken many of them. They can use common cloud services, generate changing behavior, and reduce the number of human errors left behind. The evidence in this case still contained clues. Simplified Chinese appeared in operator material, while traditional Chinese appeared in data associated with the victim. A source cited by the Financial Times identified Taiwan. Those facts support the reported assessment, but they do not close the case. This uncertainty matters because cyber attribution can lead to sanctions, diplomatic consequences, or escalation between governments. A fast technical conclusion is not automatically a reliable political conclusion. AI can make the attack faster while making responsibility more difficult to prove. The economic change may be just as important as the technical one. Sophisticated cyber operations used to require scarce specialists working for weeks or months. Autonomous agents do not eliminate skilled operators, but they can multiply each operator's reach. One person can supervise several systems. One campaign can examine many targets. Failed attempts cost less because software can immediately explore another route. That changes the market for cybercrime and espionage. Smaller groups can attempt operations that once required a large team. Major actors can increase the number of targets without increasing staff at the same rate. Ordinary weaknesses become more valuable because an agent can search for them across thousands of connected systems. For defenders, the imbalance is brutal. An agent can operate all night. A government procurement cycle can take years. The attacker can change tactics in seconds. An institution may need meetings, approvals, and coordination across multiple agencies before changing one critical system. Dream described this as the gap between machine speed offense and institution speed defense. Closing that gap does not mean handing every defensive decision to an AI. Autonomous defense can create its own failures, false alarms, and accountability problems. But organizations can no longer assume that a human analyst will always have time to review every step of an attack. The practical response begins with fundamentals, strong identity controls, limited privileges, rapid credential revocation, continuous visibility across connected systems, and tested recovery plans. Suppliers need the same scrutiny as internal networks. Security teams need to recognize coordinated behavior across services, not just one suspicious request in one log. And the most sensitive actions still need clear human authority. Speed matters, but so do boundaries. The phrase, autonomous cyber attack, sounds futuristic. The weaknesses exploited in this reported campaign were not. That is precisely what makes the story dangerous. The agents did not need to invent a new internet. They only needed to navigate the old one faster than its defenders. 8 agents. 12 waves. 4 days. 85 accounts. More than 2,500 records. The numbers may belong to one investigation, but the business model can be copied. Public tools improve. Computing gets cheaper. Agent frameworks become easier to operate. The cost of launching another campaign falls. The next major cyber attack may still begin with a human decision. But after that decision, the attacker may no longer need a room full of humans to carry it out. For more verified stories about artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and the money behind them, subscribe, turn on notifications, and keep watching Bytes and Billions. Follow the money. Find the glitch.